Hey, I'm Kate, and this is Barbell Therapy, the podcast, where we're giving power to vulnerability. We are going to help you lose weight and reach your goals, but we're going to show you that you're not alone in how you feel while you're doing that. Let's get vulnerable. Hey there, and welcome back to this week's episode of Barbell Therapy. Today, we're going to be tackling a topic that hits close to home for so many of us, and that's how to navigate Thanksgiving dinner without the guilt, stress, or overwhelming feeling that you're ruining everything you've worked for with just one meal. This time of year is an absolute minefield when it comes to food, especially if you've spent years cycling through crash diets or battling complicated relationships with your overall food intake. You want to enjoy the stuffing and the pie and all of those treats that you get basically once a year. But on the other hand, you're also like, I have to watch my calories. I have to watch my weight gain. I need to get back on track. If this is sounding familiar, this episode is definitely for you. So I want to remind you that food is not the enemy. Thanksgiving isn't the problem. The issue is your inner dialogue that's telling you you're either on or off the wagon. We need to flip the script and focus on how you can approach the table with confidence and gratitude and have the freedom to enjoy the day and all the food that comes with some of your favorite holidays. Thanksgiving, not my favorite holiday for food, but I know many people it is. So on today's podcast, we're talking about why one meal is not going to ruin all of your progress, how you're going to practice mindful eating and enjoying your favorite foods without that side of guilt. We're going to talk about dealing with the family comments and the social pressure about what you're eating or why you're not eating certain things, and what to do if you feel like you're overeating. And no, it's not to punish yourself with a bunch of exercise the following day. By the end of this episode, I want you to feel like when you go to Thanksgiving dinner, you're going to celebrate the holiday, enjoy the foods that you love, and also stay aligned with the goals that you have set for yourself. So grab your water, settle in, and let's get vulnerable. Okay, first we need to start with the mindful eating aspect of this because it's a game changing, right? Like we have to understand that mindset practice behind food, eating, and your goals, and not just settle that for Thanksgiving or Christmas, but make sure that you can apply those principles to any meal that you want to enjoy yourself without feeling like you're going to be out of control or off track or whatever it is. It's about slowing down and being present, not with just the food, but with also your family and the moment that you're actually living in. You can't obsess over everything that you're eating or just tell yourself, screw it, I'm just going to go all in and here goes my diet and who knows when I'll get started back onto it. So I want to give you some tangible tips to actually practice at Thanksgiving to make sure that you're mindfully eating. One of my favorite things that I love to tell people to do is to make sure that you're starting with the food that you love. Don't just take your plate up there and put everything down the line, right? Like I want you to be really mindful and be like, I really love the mushroom cap filled stuffings or stuffing filled mushroom caps. Those are my favorite things. So I'm gonna take like 3 of those boys. And then I really like mashed sweet potatoes. So I'm gonna take a big scoop of that. But I like regular mashed potatoes too. So I'm gonna take a smaller scoop of that. You need to fill your plate with foods that excite you, in addition to protein, obviously, but foods that will make you happy and excite you, and not just everything down the line because you're throwing away or throwing in the towel on your goals on this day anyway, right? Like that is how we practice that mindfulness when it comes to eating. Because if you're just like, well, I'm throwing in the towel anyway, so I'm just going to have it all. This is where we're going to start feeling that guilt and that shame around food because you didn't really want it anyway, right? And you're just doing it because you feel like you need to go all in or all out on your goals. And that is what we're trying to break. Make sure that while you're living in the moment, you're slowing it down. You're chatting throughout dinner. Don't just take a plate of food and sit there silently and shovel it all into your mouth. Take the time to have conversations and fill your cup of joy, of living in the moment with the people you love, the people that you're surrounded by, right? Like being able to do that. We're taking breaths. We're being mindful while we're eating. We're slowing down. We're enjoying it. So now it's no longer going to become this fear or shame or guilt around the plate that's in front of you. you're going to start looking around and you're going to enjoy the time, and you're going to focus less on the actual food and start focusing more on the people around you. And that's what we need to do during this time, because that's what's going to fill that cup for you and fill that gratitude and, peace within yourself and what your goals are. So then that way you're not thinking so much about the food. Mindful eating isn't about eating less or making sure that you're only eating like healthy things. It's about eating with intention. It's about enjoying the time that you're spending with the food, or enjoying the time that you're spending with family when it's surrounded around food, right? When you allow yourself to be present in the moment and enjoy the foods you like and enjoy the company you're keeping, that allows you to feel a whole heck of a lot less guilty. And now you're not going to spiral into that overeating or feeling out of control or throwing in the towel on your goals. Trust me, I know that part of the stress, though, is that societal pressure and your aunt commenting on how much you're eating, or somebody asking if you should really be eating that, or maybe somebody mocking you because you're not taking an excess amount of food, right? Like, I totally get this. And when you're going to a family gathering or a friend gathering, and there are other people that are not necessarily working towards some sort of fitness and nutrition goal, it can feel incredibly isolating and like people are staring at you. And that makes the food anxiety a whole heck of a lot worse. The holidays, along with any other life event, brings out a lot of opinions. And for some reason, people typically either they're projecting their own feelings or insecurities onto you, or they just don't really understand that what they're saying is harmful to you internally, right? Like, they're just saying something and they probably think it's funny. But to you, because you're already feeling so isolated about it in general, now you're feeling like, ooh, that comment really dug deep. I want to make sure that we have tangible things that we can do throughout this to negate that. So a couple of things that you can do is making sure you have a response ready. I know that you're thinking about all the things that are probably happening before you even get there, right? Like, I literally create situations in my head constantly. Sometimes they happen and sometimes they don't. But when I feel that control freak in me, like, feels like when I practice it and practice what will feel good or what I want the outcome to be of that conversation, it makes it a lot easier to actually go through with it in person, right? So I want you to have some sort of response ready. And whatever that is, you can say things like you're enjoying the holiday and not focusing on food. You can say things like, yeah, I love cookies, but I'm saving room for pie, or whatever it is. Think about those responses that you're going to give to Aunt Betty, who asks you why you're getting a second serving of apple pie and dousing it in whipped cream for the second time. For me, I would tell them that the pumpkin pie is a vehicle for the whipped cream the second time. You can also redirect the conversation in general, right? Like, you can just be like, laugh it off and then ask them about themselves. How's work been? What's been the favorite? What's, something completely unrelated to food. What's your favorite part of this week so far? Did Uncle Jerry, give you a rendition of some song that's Thanksgiving wise? Did you watch the parade this morning? That's a good one. Redirect the conversation. Now, if this is a family member that you feel like you have to have hard intentional boundaries with, then set those. You can literally just say, hey, I don't want to talk about food or my body. Like, let's talk about something else. And is that going to be slightly uncomfortable? Potentially. But that doesn't mean that we have to avoid it altogether. We can still have those conversations because we have to teach people how to treat us. Remember, their opinion isn't defining you. Oftentimes, people make comments based on their personal experiences or based on their own insecurities, and they make comments that are projected onto you but actually have nothing to do with you. So their comments are not a reflection of you, they're a reflection of their own lived experiences. And sometimes people don't know that that is what's happening, and that is okay. The holidays are stressful enough, and we don't need Aunt Betty commenting on your second slice of apple pie, sending you down a rabbit hole of just throwing in the towel on your goals, okay? No need for a new year, new you, because you're starting this journey, you're continuing this journey now, and you're not letting this time of year just completely derail you because Aunt Betty can't keep her mouth shut. I hope that you have been able to take something off your plate to bring to Thanksgiving, and I can't wait to hear all the boundaries that you set. Talk to you soon. Thank you so much for tuning in and being vulnerable with me today. I'd love to hear from you, so make sure you come hang out with me on Instagram at KDanFit. Let me know what you thought of this episode or leave a review here. And don't forget, I want to cover topics that you want to hear about. Let me know what topics you want me to cover either in the comments or shoot me a message on Instagram, and I'll talk to you soon.